Welcome back to this session on interfaces in Unreal Engine 4. In this session I'm going to show you how to trigger your rotating block just by using key presses that are linked to this trigger switch that we made earlier on. The idea of this is some sort of console that you sort of walk up to and press a use key to operate. So we set that up in the previous clip. Now a lot of people, when they first start using Unreal, will think of adding maybe the letter U for use, or the letter F perhaps, because it's near to the WASD controls, and might use this as a way of triggering an event. So you press the F key and it works, which is fine for quick sort of testing, debugging. The problem is if you wanted to change that key, or you wanted to have several keys doing the same thing, for example the keyboard, a gamepad, a VR controller and so on, you'd have to do quite a lot of work to make that kind of function using different versions of this. So a better way to do this is to actually add a proper input to the project. So just go to input, and then where you got action mappings, just click on the plus and choose use as a name. You can pick any name you want, but use is a good one. We're going to look in the keyboard for the letter, the letter U, the letter F we'll go for. Plus you could add other options as well, so you could add another, if it was a gamepad for example, you could choose one of the face buttons or something to make that work. But we'll leave it as just the F key for now. Within our blueprint, we need to make sure that it is set to auto receive inputs. So on our trigger switch, just click on the top level component here. Make sure it's set to auto receive from player 0 in this case, and make sure that box there, block input, is unticked as well. Otherwise the U key or the use key won't get passed on to any other objects that are also using that key. If you right click now in the event graph, you'll see that our action event use has been created, which is what we defined up in the input. Again, when you use these actions, just make sure that consume is turned off, otherwise it will kind of gobble up that key press and not pass it on to any other objects in the level which may want to listen for it. So once it's pressed, we want it to turn our interface on. So let's just break these links here for now, and we'll just check that the key works. So we're going to walk up to the object, I'm going to press the F key, it turns on. That's great, it works and it stays on. What we might want to change slightly is so that it only works when you're actually near the object in the level. At the moment that's going to work from pretty much anywhere in the level. You could be half a mile away and it would still trigger that action, so that's probably not what you want. So we're going to add what's called a gate, which will allow us to modify how and when the U key has any action associated with it. So sorry, we want to link that up so that it links like this. So it's set so that when the use key is pressed, it's going to enter the gate here. Now depending on whether the gate is open or closed will depend on whether the exit gets triggered. So if it's closed, then and they press the key, it'll just enter the gate here and nothing will happen. If it's opened, so basically if they overlap our box, the gate gets opened, this will then flow through, the use key will flow through and go out onto our exit pin like so. So let's just check that works. So I'm going to just step backwards from here. I'm going to press the F key, nothing happens. I'm going to walk towards this. I'm going to press the F key now and it works. That's fine. Another thing that you might want to make it do is that when you release the key, it could also stop the block from moving. So let's try this. So we walk up here, we press F, we let go of F. That's fine. Now the only problem still is that if we press F and then we walk away from the object, it still plays even though I've got the F key held down. So I'll let go of F now and it will stop. We could also make it so that as you step away, it also stops the trigger from running. So we could just put a sequence in here. Just tidy things up a little bit. So on the end overlap, we want it to work like this. So if you walk away, then it's going to close the gate, and it's also going to turn off that animation sequence there. So you walk up to the object, you press F, it starts working, you walk away, it stops working. There's a slight little glitch in that it's playing the kind of exit sound even though we've not done anything, so you'd have to probably do a little bit more work just to also stop that sound playing. You could perhaps modify this so that it only played this sequence if the on or off had been triggered previously. But anyway, you get the general kind of idea for that one. Okay, we'll save that there, and I'll come back and I'll show you a couple of other things you might want to do. For example, making it a switch that can be activated and deactivated based on something else happening in the level. So perhaps you need a key first of all to activate this.